Hi, well, today's video is asking the question, have you tried to rent recently? And I'm sure a lot of people watching this absolutely have. And I have not. I have lived in the same place for just over 2 decades, so most of my adult life. So the last time I had to apply to rent a house was in 1997 because I moved there in 98. And the last time I had to rent an apartment was in 1996. We lived there for a couple of years when we first got married. And I wanted to share with you some things that I learned. This isn't necessarily for parents who are my age who are helping their college kids move off and rent, but rather it's to people who are trying to rent and also people who are interested in getting into real estate. Some things to think about on both sides. Now, recently I have had two different daughters move, and I've learned a lot about the changes. The first thing that I've learned is that despite email, communication is terrible. I always tell my kids something that Reagan said about Gorbachev, trust but verify. And I think this is even more important now because we rely so heavily on internet and on email, and we assume that people know certain things. But you need to make sure and follow up with the apartment complex, look on their website, find out if there's a checklist. Whenever you turn something in, ask what the next two steps will be so you are prepared. What I learned with my first daughter who moved, the first one that moved this summer, she had so many issues, even though she's staying in the same complex, she was just moving to a different unit, about like there were fees that they charged just to shift to different units and things like that, and issues, miscommunication, date issues, things like that. With my second daughter, who's actually moving in 2 days, as I record this video, what I found there was because she is younger and she hasn't lived on her own as long, not only was there a lot more information that they collected, but it took longer. It was not very clear what they wanted, what they were trying to verify. So she didn't always have the next thing that they needed. And there was a time lapse, and there was the constant threat of being waitlisted. Well, this was really critical because she was moving to a different state for a job. And so this caused a lot of stress. So when you are looking to move to a new apartment, try to get a list of what the entire process will look like and what has to be done at each step and what information they need, and then how quickly they'll get back with you. I know it can be a little bit of a pain, so please be super nice to the people. Always thank them for their time and for their effort, and tell them how much you appreciate the information they've given you. But do make sure that you are the squeaky wheel that gets the information. Do not just sit and wait and assume they'll get back with you when everything is ready to go. You are just one of a myriad of names. Second of all, everything is on a computer, and this increases mistakes. We had a lot of issues and miscommunications and delays finding things out because it was all through email. And also, not all of us have our email ping us every time an email comes in. I am one of those people that does not have that. And so there were delays in getting information. But they will not call because they want everything done in writing. So if you're looking to get if you're looking to get into an apartment, you need to make sure that you are following by email and checking your email at very regular intervals, especially as you get towards move-in day. Very few people give straight answers because decisions are made off-site. See, this is a little bit different from when I helped my other two daughters. One was moving into a duplex, and the other daughter was moving into an apartment that just had the property manager there on site and didn't have a large office staff, even though it was a reasonably large size complex. So I could just ask her, what's the process? What do you need? How much is the deposit? What I'm finding is they don't even let you know how much the deposit is. They'll say, you can have the place. However, it's going to be this much extra. They don't explain why. They don't tell you that there's that possibility. They simply go, take it or leave it. So you have to have a lot more money prepared than you probably expect. Thousands of dollars. It's insane, actually. Unfortunately, since I also am in real estate investing, I have seen this a lot, especially right now. As I record this, it's 2022, and people are all about the Benjamins. And investors will sometimes see tenants as dancing dollar signs. And I hear this a lot. Oh, this is undervalued rents. We can go in and do this and increase rents and make this much more. you have to remember, it's not rents, it's people's homes. I am not a person that is okay with going in and bumping up everybody's rent. If you want to improve a property and as you bring in new tenants, charge a premium because of the nicer place, still make it affordable for people who live in the area. Pay note of the affordability scales and consider what affordability in purchased properties are, and then look at the mortgage and compare that to your apartment. Don't just go with what Zillow says is a zestimate for rent and what you can get out of it. Appreciate that there are people who have established lives and jobs and routines based on being in this area. And when you go in and do a jack up on their rent, you are not being a good person, bottom line. If you're trying to move out, let's say like in some cases, there's people that go into apartments and clear out like drug dealers and people who are not paying and things like that. That's an entirely different topic for a different video. But if you are going in and purchasing a multifamily property with the sole plan of jacking up the rents on the people who live there, you are not being a good person. That's just all I have to say about that. Now, as a tenant, remember, we have to be kind and polite to humans as well, because what I see sometimes is tenants can be entitled, immature, can have ridiculous demands, but this confrontational one-upness is ridiculous. We don't have to make ourselves bad people to get back at people who are being bad people. You be a good person no matter what. You don't let the outside world change you. So how can we make this process easier? And how, as we who are investors, still net a profit without destroying people's lives? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. I'm going to be sharing a series of videos coming up that will be about steps if you're looking at getting a first apartment or a new apartment, and some things to think about that you may not necessarily think about, especially if you're in high school or college and getting ready to do it without mom and dad's help. I will be sharing those in the coming days, so I hope that you will like and subscribe so that you can get the updates when they come through. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on my next video.